every human being is carrying a tremendous wealth within himself. Everything that is needed for your well-being is right here in this mind and body. Only question is, do you have access to it? If we strive towards it, if we work towards it, every human being can have access to this. Except maybe rare conditions if you have, let's say, brain damage. Some people have brain damage where no matter what, they're just insane because of a physical problem in the body. But that aside, if you have a healthy body, if you have a healthy brain, really nothing more is needed than that. You have all the tools within you that is necessary for your well-being. Only question is, do you have access to it? So when we talk about this technology of yoga, we are talking about a method to access it. Like any technology, it's just like a child learning how to walk. For now we take it for granted we are walking on an everyday basis. So simple and effortless because we've repeated it so many times. But for a child who's just learning how to walk, just one step in front of the other, oh, how difficult does it seem? And he has to stumble again and again. But the beauty about experiment is that you can fail as many times as necessary. As many times as necessary to set you on the right track. And if you just pay a little bit of attention to the obstacles, don't figure out where to go. You don't know where to go. You don't have the slightest clue where to go. Everything we know about life, it's only compared to our previous experience, right? So any new dimension is, we can only imagine upon it. We can have beliefs about it, but we still don't really know what it is, right? So we fail many times. With every failure, if you're paying a little bit of attention to the obstacles that are work within you, every failure can be transformed into a success if only we begin to have a conscious approach. So don't be discouraged by whatever obstacles you may experience in your practice. This is natural because now you're walking against the stream. Your whole programming is dictating, I'm going to move this way, nowhere else except this way. But now you're functioning a little bit more out of your own intelligence. You're moving against the stream. Your body and mind wants to resist change. We are creatures of habit. So let's first understand, how are we creatures of habit? Rather than figuring out how can we replace ourselves with a better version, a more sophisticated version, a replacement for the old self, which means maybe you have more sophisticated delusions, more sophisticated misunderstandings. Do you know the mischief people are doing in the name of self-improvement? Positive thinking. Why? So they can make millions of dollars. Nothing wrong with $1 million, but I doubt you can seek $1 million without it strengthening your greed. That's the madness that's happening in the name of self-improvement. You want to improve yourself so you can achieve your power trips, your ambitions in the mind. Here we're not talking about that. First, let's understand ourselves as we are. Self-observation. Let's look at the facts. What are the facts of our life? What are the facts of our being? That takes a lot of courage, because you must be willing to allow reason to take you wherever it leads, even in the most unpleasant places. Because the truth of life and the truth of things does not have any obligation to fit into the story you created in your mind. So that's why if we want to involve ourselves in any kind of exploration, best to approach it with a beginner's mind. It reminds me of a small story of a student, no, not a student, a university professor. He came to see a Zen master. He wanted to learn about Zen, So he waited to receive the teaching. The master went, and as is the custom, when you visit the master, he will serve some tea. So he brought some tea. He poured the tea into the cup, and he kept on pouring and pouring. Suddenly the cup was overflowing. The professor said, "Stop. Nothing more is going to enter into the cup. What on earth are you doing?" The Zen master said, "Just like this cup, you've come here with all your beliefs, your assumptions, your speculations. How can I really show you the way of Zen unless you first empty your cup?" That's what it means when we say one is a seeker. You seek. Of course, you have your prejudices, you have your assumptions, but at least the willingness to doubt, at least that much should be there. How do you know your assumptions have any roots in reality? Otherwise, if you don't have that approach, really, you ever heard of confirmation bias? The term confirmation bias? It means when you're exploring into something or you're experimenting into something, you're not looking at it objectively, you're looking at it, you want the experiment to conform to your own beliefs. So what happens is you look at the evidence, then you bend the evidence according to your preferences. So, in other words, if the evidence can be made to confirm your belief, you're more than happy, which can be done. So, having a balanced approach to exploration needs a bit of time to develop, but if the willingness is there, at least, then that's an excellent starting point. The willingness to doubt, that alone can take you many places. Maybe your beliefs have some truthfulness to it. I don't know. However, what I do know is, do you ever hear of a scientist saying he believes in the sun? He knows the sun exists. So if you know something, if you know it without a doubt, doesn't the need to believe disappear? And if you don't know, why can we not be genuine enough just to recognize I don't know? Do you see what I'm saying? So in both cases, why drag the need for belief? Belief is there because there's some uncertainty and doubt within you. And most of our beliefs in the world are intended, if you look at it, we're so attached to our beliefs. We're using them as a way to protect our fragile identity. Let's be practical, let's be down to earth. The beautiful thing about yoga is you don't have to accept anything on the basis of belief. Just explore into this system. Your own system already has all the answers you're seeking in life. Because the whole nature is at work here. This system is like a history book of nature. There is no greater scripture than the book of nature. There is more truthfulness on a single blade of grass or a single grain of sand on a beach than all the scriptures and philosophies that have been invented by human beings. That's part of the meaning of darshan, to see. We're talking more about being. Through being, the quality of being, through deepening your presence, you align yourself with the way of the creation. Existence, does existence know any theories? Does existence know any philosophies? The only thing existence knows is existence, being. So I would say a moment of attention, a moment of truly being attentive and present, that contains much more truthfulness than all the brilliant logical explanations that you can give.